Are you trying to figure out the best way to get around Universal Orlando without wasting precious park time? Well, I've been there and I know that getting around the Universal Orlando parks can be exhausting without a solid game plan, and it's only going to get even more confusing with the opening of Epic Universe on May 22nd, 2025. But here's the crazy thing, with the amount of different transportation options that you actually have at your fingertips, it isn't as complicated as you think, and most families don't even have to rent a car on their next Universal Orlando vacation. In this complete guide, I am breaking down every transportation option at Universal, from water taxis to the free shuttle buses, and even a new secret entrance directly into Epic Universe that most guests might not even know about. And not only will this guide help you navigate the parks, but it will also help you decide which hotel is the best fit for you and your family, because we will also cover transportation over to Walt Disney World and even Port Canaveral if you're going on a cruise after your Universal Orlando vacation. So without any further ado, let's go get started. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. We're about to jump in, and this is the ultimate guide to transportation over at Universal Orlando. We're going to start with what is probably the most common and what works for most families, which is going to be the shuttle bus. So this is one of the most popular transportation options available at all on-site Universal Orlando hotels. These buses will pick guests up at designated stations at each hotel and then drop guests off at City Walk or now Epic Universe. And then guests can also take transportation from Universal City Walk over to Universal's water park, Volcano Bay, as well. Now, some important things to keep in mind. One of the most common questions I receive is, Mike, when do the shuttle buses start to run in the morning? And the buses will run 1 hour prior to park opening, and then they'll also run until City Walk closes. And now it's important to note that City Walk will typically open up 1 hour before early park admission starts. So that's important, especially if you're trying to get the most out of your day and take advantage of early park admission. You want to get there. If you're following my tips and tricks anyway, you want to get over to City Walk as early as possible. So another common question when it comes to transportation is, how frequent do these shuttle buses run? So they actually will run every 15 minutes once they start from these hotels, which are going to be Universal's Endless Summer Resort Dockside, and then also Surfside Inn and Suites, Universal's Adventura Hotel, Universal's Cabana Bay Beach Resort, Stella Nova Resort, Terra Luna Resort, and Universal's Helios Grand Hotel. And so there are actually 4 hotels that the shuttle bus is going to run every 30 minutes, and that's going to be Universal's Portofino Bay Resort, the Hard Rock Hotel, Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort, and then Universal's Sapphire Falls Resort. And then you'll see we're about to jump in, but the reason why it's different at those hotels is they do have water taxis, which we will be talking about shortly if that sounds like that's up your alley. So some of the other important things to keep in mind is buses do not travel between the hotels, so guests will need to take a shuttle bus to City Walk and then transfer on a bus from there if you're trying to get over to one of the hotels that's not within walking distance. And then the drop-offs at City Walk are the transportation rotunda, which is essentially the parking garage area, and you will have to go through security at that point. It's also important to note that the buses are large, modern, and they are ADA accessible and also air conditioned. And some of the newer buses are electric, and they are currently running to and from Epic Universe hotels or the Epic Universe area. Now over to the next transportation option. We've covered the buses, but you might be wondering what else is there at Universal, and we do have the Universal Orlando water taxi. This is available only for guests staying at Sapphire Falls, Portofino Bay, Hard Rock Hotel, and Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort. So the water taxi connects select resorts with a drop-off point near the entrance of Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure, really in the middle of City Walk, in the middle of it all. One of the cool things that we love is you do go through security before you get onto the water taxi boats, so you kind of skip the line there, and by the time you get to City Walk, you're pretty much ready to go, and the travel time is usually less than 10 minutes once you get on the boat, and the boats do depart, just like the shuttle buses, every 10 to 15 minutes, and their opening time is they're going to start operating again 1 hour before early park admission starts, really when City Walk opens up, and the same thing when City Walk closes at night. So as you can see, when it comes to the water taxis, right now they're only going to City Walk, so that means you can't take a water taxi to Epic Universe at this point in time. And right now there are no shuttle taxis at the Epic Universe hotels to get into Epic, but there's a brand new entrance into Epic that we will talk about shortly. So let's jump into the next one, and that that, of course, is something that's so dear to my heart being from New York City. We walk everywhere, and that's no different at Universal Orlando, as they do have a ton of walking paths from most of the hotels. And we are about halfway through this video. Before I break down how the walking paths work, I hope that you are enjoying this video to this point. If you are, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel, as I have a lot more similar videos coming out in the coming weeks to get you as prepared as possible for your next Universal Orlando vacation. Okay, but back over to the walking paths, which are always well lit, cleaned, and patrolled by security. We have two walking paths, really. We have the Garden Walkway, which starts at Cabana Bay Beach Resort and passes through Aventura, Royal Pacific, and Sapphire Falls, and this leads to City Walk near Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. I would say total from Cabana Bay to the Margaritaville entrance, it's about 20 minutes. And we also have the Garden Walkway, which is on the other side towards Portofino Bay and the Hard Rock, which again, it connects directly to an exit near the entrance of Universal Studios Florida. So you can see here now where it kind of gets interesting. If you want to be closer to Islands of Adventure, maybe for early park admission, right? You want to pick the first Garden Walkway, which is Cabana Bay Beach Resort, Aventura, Royal Pacific, or Sapphire Falls. Maybe if you're going for Halloween Horror Nights and you want close proximity to Universal Studios Florida, the Hard Rock or Portofino Bay is going to be the better option. And of course, the walking path also connects Cabana Bay, Aventura, Sapphire Falls, and Royal Pacific directly to Volcano Bay. So you can walk over to Volcano Bay if you do so choose. And it is important to note that Endless Summer and now the Epic Universe hotels are not within walking distance to the original Universal Orlando theme parks. And then Endless Summer and Epic Universe are also not connected via a walking path. So let's jump into Epic Universe, and that's really the newest portion of Universal Orlando. And let's talk about the transportation for Epic Universe, which is opening on May 22nd, 2025. So we have 3 brand new hotels at Epic Universe. We have Universal's Helios Grand Hotel, we have Universal Terra Luna Resort, and Universal Stella Nova Resort. So you might be wondering, Mike, you spoke about a hidden walking path into the Epic Universe. Where is it? Well, Universal's Helios Grand Hotel will be connected directly to Epic Universe, meaning it is just steps from your hotel into the theme park. You will have your own designated entrance into Epic Universe, which is, should I say it, epic. But also, even if you're staying at these hotels, Universal does have the Universal Shuttle Buses, which will serve all 3 of the new Epic Universe hotels and take guests over to Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, and also Volcano Bay. And the cool thing about this is there's actually a extension project. So Universal and the city of Orlando are building a designated road that it will take guests from those hotels over to the theme parks to make it quicker. So the Kirkman Road Extension Project is aimed at improving transportation to the area. And this project will be connecting the main campus to Epic Universe, and this includes dedicated bus lanes to improve travel time from Epic Universe to the existing parks and hotels. And so how they're doing this is an elevated traffic circle being built between Universal Stella Nova and Universal Terra Luna and the south end of Epic Universe to improve traffic flow and really serve as a landmark as well. And last but not least, there is also a walking path from Universal Stella Nova Resort to Epic Universe, which I definitely will be taking advantage of. Okay, but you might be wondering, Mike, but I have to still get to my hotel. So what are the transportation options from Orlando International Airport to Universal Orlando? And so they're not free. The other transportation options that we've spoken about are free, right? Once you get over to the parks, you have free transportation throughout. These are not free, but they will take you from the airport to your hotel and then back from your hotel to the airport. So we have the Universal Orlando Superstar Shuttle. And this is a paid shuttle service between the airport and all on-site Universal Orlando hotels. And this is going to be around $39 per adult and $29 per child for round-trip transportation. And this is super popular. It can be booked by using a travel agent like us, the Park Prodigy, or using your local travel agent, or really anytime you're booking your vacation package, you can add this on. And then there's also, of course, Mirs Transportation, which offers various paid transportation options from Orlando Airport to Universal Orlando resorts as well. And another very popular question that I get, breaking down, what are my other options? Let's say, of course, Mike, how do I get over to Walt Disney World for a day, for 2 days, whatever it might be? There actually is a transportation option that you can add on to your official Universal Orlando vacation package. And it is a one-trip, round-trip transportation service from your Universal Orlando hotel to any of the Walt Disney World theme parks. And then you get picked up at night and you are brought back to your hotel. Now, personally, I believe that, Uber and Lyft are still probably the most affordable way to do that if that's your plan, right? But in the day and age, we live in, some people just feel most comfortable with an official, universal, kind of qualified option, and this would be it. There's also a transportation option. Let's say if you're doing a split stay, there's a transportation option from your Walt Disney World hotel over to Universal Orlando to get you over there. And then, of course, last but not least, with so many cruises going out of Port Canaveral, there's actually a transportation option to take guests from your Universal Orlando hotel to your cruise at Port Canaveral, vice versa from Port Canaveral to your Universal Orlando hotel. And we are seeing a lot of our clients are adding on either a 3-day cruise, right? Or they're doing vice versa. They're adding on, a little trip to Universal on top of their cruise out of Port Canaveral. And again, this is just a great way to avoid having to rent a car, especially if you don't have to. So that is it, everyone. Those are all of the transportation options at Universal Orlando. As you can see, there are so many different options for whatever really works best for you. There are the shuttle buses, the water taxis, the walking paths, even your own private entrance to Epic Universe. There are so many different options, but I hope that you found this video helpful. And as a thank you for sticking around till the end of this video, I do have a special promo code you can go use on our website, theparkprodigy.com, if you are planning that next Universal Orlando vacation, and that promo code is going to be MAGIC50. But I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. And if you stick around, YouTube thinks that you will find this video right here helpful to check out next.